Welcome to eLeaderTech TV. I'm your host, Mike Hill. eLeaderTech is an automotive dealership training and technology firm. Our major purpose is to design and implement easy-to-use, no-nonsense training and technology solutions that enable leaders to develop dealership talent, build customer relationships, reduce team turnover, and increase dealership profit, all at a price every dealer can afford, no matter their size or profit level. It is our mission to establish eLeaderTech as an icon for dealership performance improvement. We intend to accomplish this goal by delivering a suite of training and technology solutions that put people at the center of the process, supported by technology, providing a culture of self-management, helping people gain the discipline to get things done, and delivering a level of service that cannot be matched by our competition. Members of the eLeaderTech team give before they get. With us today is the founder and CEO of eLeaderTech, David Ibarra. Welcome, David.
Well, thank you, Mike, for having me. Your mission purpose statement gave me goosebumps.
Well, I wonder who created that, David.
Well, I tell you what, knowing your purpose and your big idea and theming it into a statement that you can articulate just like you did, Mike, so that associates know what we do and what it is that we're delivering to the guests and the customers and the clients and friends we serve. It's powerful.
Well, with the eLeaderTech, and we'll talk about as we get on, this isn't just something that's written on a wall, is it?
Oh, no. It's written in our hearts and souls of every member of our team. And that's one of the things, Mike, I'm most proud of. We are a group of believers.
Well, even to the fact that every morning when we go in and we read our mission statements, whether it's individually, we read it out loud, we read it with gusto, because that's the way we start out our day, and that's the way we end our day.
Well, you got to be ready to start your day, or otherwise the actions you put into motion don't have the same oomph, and our team's ready.
Absolutely. Well, with that, David, in this first podcast, what we're doing is talking about eLeaderTech and why we have eLeaderTech TV. Why don't you give our listeners a little bit of a history behind eLeaderTech?
Well, eLeaderTech started clear back in 1992 when it was incorporated for the sole purpose of taking a patent we received for our performance management software, patent number 6119096. Not that I'm overly proud of it, but I am. And to house it. At that time, I was a general manager of an automobile dealership, and initially we built this software only to be used for our own associates. It was later, after I went on my own to develop the performance management company, that we made it available to the public, and that was in 1999.
Well, we are in an absolutely gorgeous facility. Anyone who comes into this facility, one of the first things, they're wowed, aren't they? They're wowed when they walk in and see the outside of the building, the inside of the building, the learning center. Talk about the early days.
Well, in the early days, we started off, and just like anybody, I think I had one account, and fact of the matter is that I lost money for the first 6 months, and establishing, who we were and what we were going to offer. But very quickly, we moved into getting 10 accounts quickly. And we were working out of a little office in Murray, Utah, that was next to a duck pond and all the things that ducks leave behind. And it was just 2 offices, and it was very humble. But we grew quickly and then moved to the downtown Broadway Center, which was a nice building, and we took up 2 or 3 offices there, and then I was encouraged by at that time it was a county council person by the name of Randy Horahuchi that, hey, why don't you get your own building and build it in the image of your company, a learning center? And it was that seed that got in my head that said, yeah, why not? Why not buy a downtown building? And then we got the assistance of the mayor at the time, Rocky Anderson, and a good friend of mine, Vasilios Preskos, who personally owned internet properties and found this building, 16,800 square foot building. And then it was Kevin Hunt and New Concepts that breathed new life into it. And I tell you what, it's a state-of-the-art building and learning center dedicated to the companies that we own and run and the services we offer our clients.
Well, when we take a look at all the things that eLeaderTech does, and obviously eLeaderTech is about performance and leadership training. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, it occurred to me early on while I was in business and a district manager with Marriott. I was the past director of training for the Western United States for a division within Marriott, Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor Restaurant, where I got my start and learned the power of theming and the development of talent. That those of us that understood that it's the talent component that goes with capital, and you have to have capital to win for sure, but you have to have talent to win and create the successes that you're after. Most people don't get the talent component. And then there's companies out there that are the performance management companies, and I can name them, but I won't. But most of them aren't worth a hoot. In that the reason is like Henry David Thoreau said, you must stand up and live before you sit down and write. I believe the performance management processes have to be taught to others by those that have successfully implemented them in a company they own and have successfully developed the talent of their entities. The ones that went to a master's degree and can talk the sweet talk and the cliches and all of that, frankly, they can't teach from their experience. And every one of us are in an operation every week. And we came from operations, but we're businessmen and women that understand the development of talent. We've stood up and lived before we sat down and wrote and taught. And I think there's a big difference. Now, while we are a boutique company, there is nobody in this country that understands the development of a purpose, finding your big idea and incorporated it into your purpose and processes, and then the delivery of the actions that make you real and gains you market share. Now, we've gone from 10 clients to 100+ rooftops. We've taught what we know from China to Detroit. We have Mexico, Central America, and now even Singapore. There is a thirst for those who really know the development of another individual. We don't teach people to sell and to market. We develop people. We mentor people in the development of them that can sell and market. And we have armies and tribes for everyone we serve. And they get the market share that they're after. But more importantly, they have a business family that is as close to them as their personal families.
Well, you know what? You would think just that would be enough. But it's not, is it? We have software. Talk to us about the software development.
Mike, everything that we do, the performance piece of understanding how our minds work and how it is that success occurs for us as individuals, and how it is for us as individuals, it's our responsibility as leaders to make the work experience conquered by the associate in that job role so that they can do their other roles in their life, family, faith, community, and health, well. Now, the software company, why did we get involved in that? That we believe that the controlled habit, that once you know what you want to do and how you want to do it, you can't make it real until it becomes a habit. How does it become a habit? We've got to get into the rhythm of success, that in our software, having the routing, the readiness exercises, the action brought in at the right moment, and doing it 1 day, 2 days, hundreds of days, until it becomes a rhythm and then a success habit. That's why we built the software. We want everybody to experience life like that top 3% of our society that controls 90% of this nation's wealth. Why only the 3%? Well, there was a formula that they used. There was a GPS-like thought setting that they possess, and it ought to be shared with everyone. And our software with our process training makes us able to gain the discipline to get things done, to get in the rhythm of success so that it becomes a habit and they get what they want.
And with ETS, the ETS software, and the number of dealerships that use that. And again, just like we do every single day, throughout the day, and at the end of the day, knowing those actions, knowing those things that we need to do, again, to get what we want. A lot of people don't realize that you also spend some of your time brokering automobile dealerships. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's interesting. As we serve our clients in the retail automotive industry, particularly new car franchises, there's the component of the development of talent, which is processes, the software to make it a habit, and then what else can we do for them? We have one component where they get personal consulting from me, coaching on a weekly basis, and I do about 6 groups, big groups, and I've been doing one for 18 years, the other for 10 years, and they were all intended to be a 1-2-year contract, but because of the success that we have, those clients want to hold us onto a retainer for virtually ever, and I love doing it. But what else can we do to grow our business? I got involved in the brokering of restaurants for Marriott prior to leaving them and changing careers. And so when the opportunity came that some of our dealers wanted to sell a store or what have you, it was a natural for us to have the what we called the David Ibarra Enterprises brokering entity. It was a separate company. Now, we've done 45 plus dealerships, so we're not a novice to this. We're absolutely experts. And I believe that we can do this in such a way that is better than any brokerage house out there doing this like work. So what we've done and are completing now is rolling the brokering house into a eLeaderTech. So it'll now be performance software and the brokering of automobile dealerships in a specialized group that will do this to add more services to the automobile dealership new car franchise owner.
Along with all the other things that you do, you're also an author.
That's right.
Talk to us a little bit about your book and books to come.
Well, Mike, is that everything that we do has to fit into my life purpose. And, we start with a purpose and most of us would like to sit down and figure out what our life purpose is, but it doesn't work that way. You start with a purpose normally. Hey, I need to provide for my family or something like that. And then along the way, you look for the things you love. And those are your big ideas. And then you incorporate those into your life purpose, theme them so that you can have great self-talk to yourself every morning and every night before you go to bed so you can win the game of life. Now, my life purpose is simple. I work with employed adults. Who helps those that are employed? I want to work with folks that are employed. There's so many people that go to work on Monday morning suffocating in unhappiness, slowly committing spiritual suicide. And they go home a sad, unhappy person and not the greatest partners, parents, and neighbors. I believe that if we can help one person at a time conquer the work experience so they gain the pride of providing, we send home a brand new package, a better partner, a better parent, a better neighbor, a better neighborhood, a better city, a better state, and a better country. And so anything that I can do to fulfill that, whether it's public speaking, authoring a book, which the new book that I have out is Stop Drifting, and it's a fiction story sharing the actual things that have occurred in the performance assignments and coaching and mentoring that I've done. And now I'm working on a new book called Beyond Think and Grow Rich, the rule book to the game of life. And we're doing a film.
Well, going into that, you are the largest licensee of the Think and Grow Rich seminars in the world today. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, when I was 18 years old, going nowhere, an angry youth, I came from an untraditional childhood, raised in foster care for 14 years, and joined my father when I was 14 in Sacramento from Salt Lake City, and I was a little angry. I didn't feel like I mattered. I didn't feel like I was invited to the table of success, and really nobody had showed me what success was about or define it the way we define it for others today. But I met a guy by the name of Robert E. Farrell, and I was a dishwasher at his restaurant, Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor Restaurant, and I thought that was going to be the most insignificant job that I could possibly have or experience. As it turns out, it was the changing point of my life. It was the most significant event that occurred because it changed my life. I met him. He told me that he wanted to introduce me to my other self, a person that I hadn't met for a long, long time, the believer, and to help eliminate the disbeliever in me. And he gave me a book called Think and Grow Rich by Dr. Napoleon Hill, and told me that if I would read it 3 times and underline or highlight the things that I wanted to chat with him about, every time that he visited the restaurant, about every 2 months, he'd carve out an hour for me. And he did, and became my mentor. And by 28, I opened my first business. And today we're blessed with many successful businesses. But that book changed my life. And I started thinking, well, how many other people did it change their lives? And as it turns out, it's millions and millions. And then what happened to it? It really was, the material was being held in a foundation, like a museum, and others were using the work, but using it incorrectly. And as a disciple of Dr. Hill, I wanted to reactivate it, to take the brand Think and Grow Rich and polish it off and reintroduce the material. So I went to the Napoleon Hill Foundation and bought 1 license for Mexico, then Central America, the Latin Caribbean, then China, and then Singapore. And when we add up those population bases, it makes us the largest licensee for Napoleon Hill's Science of Success principles seminars in the world. And I think of myself from the dishwasher who was going nowhere to now the largest disciple of Napoleon Hill in his work. It's an honor, and it's something that we do, and it's not about revenue. It's about getting this message out to at least 1 billion people so that we can change their lives.
Well, David, we've talked a little bit about the history
Mm-hmm.
of eLeaderTech. We've talked a little bit about eLeaderTech and what it is right now. What's the future?
Well, the future is eLeaderTech. There is no doubt about it. We own several companies, and we're now going to take the next year and develop 2 companies, the Ibarra Business Group, an insurance firm, and eLeaderTech, that's going to be performance leadership training. It's going to be software. It's going to be automobile dealership brokering. It's going to be estate planning. It's going to be assisting dealerships in the design and build of new facilities. It's going to be the leadership of how is it that you think. Change the way you think to get what you want. Think and Grow Rich seminars, not only in those countries, but one day all over the world. And so that's going to be held in eLeaderTech, which is going to be the hub of holding all of the things that relate to achieving what you want. And then we're going to have our insurance firm, which is separate, but we're going to divide it into 2 companies instead of 7. And I tell you what, I look forward to the next 20 years.
Well, we do too. As we close out this particular episode, I want to let the people know that we're going to have you come back in our next episode. And in that, we're going to talk about eLeaderTech and some of the software components, because there's a ton of software out there, and I want you to be able to introduce all of the different software components we have.
Well, I'd be delighted.
Perfect. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mike.